Hey y'all, welcome back to my kitchen for another week's worth of What's for Dinners.
Okay, so tonight we are having some fresh pork steak. I'm cooking it in some butter in the pan, just to be pan-seared steak. And then I got some red potatoes right here with the skin on them. I washed them really good, and I'm going to bring them to a boil. Then I'm just going to mash it all up and make mashed potatoes like that. Then I've got some cauliflower right here that we're going to, cut up, and we're going to bake that in the oven with some squash and zucchini, and that's going to be our supper for tonight.
And I didn't film myself cutting up the cauliflower because y'all, it was one hot mess. Now I'm just going to be placing my squash and zucchini and cauliflower onto my baking sheet and covering with a little bit of oil and seasonings. I'm just adding a little bit of butter to my pan so that I can put in some more of the pork steaks. Alright, now I'm going to be draining the water off of the potatoes. Okay, let's mash these potatoes up, y'all, and then we're going to add in a little bit of butter and some milk and some salt and pepper, and I'm also going to add in a little bit of cream cheese just to help make it a little bit more creamier. I will say, for y'all that don't know anything about pork steaks, when it's fresh pork steaks, they are really hard to get tender enough to eat, so you have to cook them for a really long time. And this is how everything looks once it's all plated up, y'all.
Alright y'all, tonight we are having shrimp fried rice, and I've got my shrimp thawing out in some hot water so that I can take the tails off of them. I've got some rice going in this pot. I always cook my rice separate and then I mix it in with the other stuff at the end. And instead of peas and carrots, we're going to do broccoli and carrots. And this is the sauce that we like to eat on top of our rice. And I'm going to show y'all each step and how I make my shrimp fried rice.
Okay, to start with, I'm going to put my carrots and my broccoli into this pan with some butter and cook those on low, or simmer those on low just until they're almost soft and done. Okay, for the shrimp, I'm going to season them with some Old Bay seasoning. I'm going to go into the carrots and broccoli with some garlic powder and also some minced garlic. And then I'm going to push the broccoli and the carrots to one side of the pan and put the shrimp on the other side of the pan and let them simmer and cook together. Then you will drown the carrots and broccoli and shrimp in this soy sauce.
Okay, it will cook out a lot of juice, so I'm just going to drain off this juice because I don't need all that juice in there when I do my egg. Okay, I didn't drain off all of the juice, but most of it, because you want a little bit of liquid in there to keep it moist after you add in your egg and everything. Okay, now I'm going to crack in 3 eggs. Beat them up like you were going to make scrambled eggs, because that's basically what you're doing. You let that cook a little bit so it can thicken up, and then you just keep on until you scramble them up just as if you were cooking scrambled eggs.
Then you mix in your rice, and it's okay if a little bit gets in the eggs. It's not going to matter because it's all going to be mixed together anyway. And then I'm going to put my lid on and just let that simmer for about 20 minutes. This is how it'll look once everything is done and all mixed together. We like to serve ours up with that yum yum sauce on top. I hope that you guys will try this recipe. If you don't try any more recipes out of my What's for Dinner, I hope that y'all will try this one, because this is our absolutely favorite and it is so delicious, y'all. Okay, so tonight is Tuesday night, and usually we have a Taco Tuesday, but tonight we are having cheesy chicken enchiladas and homemade Spanish rice. I found this recipe off of Pinterest, and I will leave the link in the description box below if you're interested in trying this. It was actually really good. I've seen a lot of people doing the recipes in the Instant Pot, and I unfortunately do not have an Instant Pot. Do not care to have an Instant Pot. That's just not my kind of thing. I'd rather cook my stuff on the stove. So I got on Pinterest and found a recipe that I can share with others who don't have an Instant Pot or is not interested in Instant Pots just like me. So I found us a stovetop recipe for Spanish rice, and I'm going to share that with y'all. But first, I'm just shredding up this rotisserie chicken, and then I'm going to wrap it in a tortilla with some cheese. Once you get all of your tortillas rolled up with your chicken mixture, then you will make this, I'm not really sure what you call it. I just call it a white cheese sauce. And you put in a little cube of butter, which is probably like a tablespoon of butter, and you melt that down. Then you add in probably about under a half a cup of flour. I just use that spoon and fill that spoon up and dip it in there. Then you just kind of make a roux out of that, and then you will add in some chicken broth. And you won't be able to tell what the box says because the sun was so bright this evening, but you add a little bit of that in there, and you just kind of make almost like a gravy, but it's not a gravy, y'all. And then once you get all that mixed together, you will add in a little can of green chilies and a half of an 8-ounce package of sour cream. Also, I added altogether probably about a cup of chicken broth. And y'all, right here you will see me adding in 2 slices of white American cheese, but you do not have to have that. I just had 2 slices left over, so I just throw those in there that night. And y'all, unfortunately my husband does not care for chicken enchiladas, so I am making some just regular ground beef with taco seasoning for him for tacos. So that's what you see me doing right there with the ground beef. But now we are going to pour this white cheesy mixture over the tops of our chicken enchiladas, and then we're going to top with some more cheddar cheese, and we're going to bake those in the oven for just about like 10-15 minutes, just long enough to melt that cheese. And that's it, y'all. Oh yeah, you're going to bake it on like 365. Okay, y'all, so for the Spanish rice, you're going to cut up an onion and a jalapeno, and you're going to cook that in a pan with some oil just until, you know, kind of saute the onion and jalapeno together. And I started my rice to cooking before I did anything else in this video that you saw, before I did the chicken enchiladas or anything like that. So I got my rice cooked. I boiled just regular rice. Now I'm going to pour that into my onions and jalapenos. Then you will add in a taco seasoning packet and a can of tomato sauce and a can of diced tomatoes. And mix it all well, mix it all up really good, and that's it, y'all. And then once I got everything mixed together, I just let mine simmer for about 5 minutes on low. And I'm pretty sure this has to be the easiest Spanish rice recipe under the sun. I hope you guys try it, and I hope you guys will like it just as much as I did. I really enjoyed this Spanish rice recipe. It was probably the best that I have ever cooked or tried, and it's always way better than a box. So, and also, if you want to try it and you do have an Instant Pot, you don't have to break out that Instant Pot. You can just mix some stuff together in a pot and it's done. Also, y'all, you do not have to add in the cheese like I am, but y'all know we love cheese over here, so I added in a little bit of cheese into ours. So now I'm just setting up everything for my family so they can easily grab and fix plates and stuff like that. This is how the enchiladas will look once they come out of the oven, and this is how the Spanish rice will look once everything's mixed together and it's ready to eat, y'all. And the cheesy sauce mixture, it always makes way more than we need, so we always have some left over for dipping, and that's how that looks. Tonight we're gonna have buttered skillet pork chops with some jalapeno poppers and some kind of veggies. I haven't really decided yet, but I will show y'all whenever I do decide. So for right now, I'm just gonna season up my pork chops and get my skillet to warming up with some butter in it. Alright, y'all, while my skillet is heating up with my butter melting, I already got these pork chop seasons, these first 4. While that's doing that, I'm going to cut up these jalapenos, and I'm going to show y'all how I cut them up to make jalapeno poppers with cream cheese and bacon. You're just going to take this spoon and you want to get all of this stuff out of it. This is the hot stuff, so if you want it hot, then I reckon you could leave some of it in there, but we do not want ours really hot, so I'm going to take all the seeds and the membranes out of this. And I'm just going to use this spoon and I just go down it like this and it comes right out. I'm trying to turn it so y'all can see what I was doing. See? And then whenever I get through doing this to all of them, I'll just rinse them off under the sink and get any of the excess seeds or whatever else is in here out.
this is how they will look once you've got everything scraped out and it's ready to fill with cream cheese. I always lay my cream cheese out at least 5 to 10 minutes before I get ready to do this part. That way it will be kind of soft. Do use this kind of cream cheese for mine, but you could use the whipped kind also. It's just as good and it's easier to fill up the jalapeno with. So now I'm going to do that. And I always cook my jalapenos on a baking sheet, like a cookie sheet like this. And I have this rack, that's like a cookie rack, but I use it for this also. And I put my jalapenos on here. That way when the grease from the bacon cooks off, they won't be soaked in grease. And while I'm doing this, I usually use my thumb and just kind of shape the cream cheese into the pepper.
Next, you would just wrap the bacon around the jalapenos, and usually I have some toothpicks to keep the bacon in place, but on this day I did not, so I did the best I could do with what I had.
Okay, so this is how they look once you got them wrapped in bacon, and they are not the prettiest because this bacon was really slacking. So I would not recommend the King Cotton hickory smoked bacon. This is not the best bacon, but it's what we got, so that's what I'm making do with. And I had some extra bacon, so I'm just gonna crisp that up in the oven also because everybody loves bacon nuts. And yeah, we're gonna put this in the oven for about 30 minutes on 365, or just until the bacon is done and the peppers are a little bit softer.
And then for my sides, we're just going to do some pasta sides and some green beans, canned green beans, and I'm going to add in some garlic powder and some pepper into my green beans, and we're going to call that our sides. That's it. Simple, easy. It may not be the healthiest or the best, but that's what we're doing this night.
Okay, y'all, I've decided I'm going to cook some of these dinner yeast rolls. The Sister Schubert's flavor. This is our first time trying this kind. We've never tried it before. And I also want to share this recipe that's on the back of the bag. It's called barbecue pulled pork or chicken mini sliders. I mean, don't they look pretty good, y'all? And it looks like it'd be fairly cheap to make. So it'd be a budget meal. You know, I'm all about my budget and cheap meals. But anyway, it says that you just preheat your oven to 350 and you take out how many ever rolls that you want and you brush the tops with butter or whatever topping. I'm just going to put butter on ours and put them in the oven with my jalapeno poppers, and we're going to have some yeast rolls with our supper tonight or dinner tonight also. Also, if y'all need a little laugh, I accidentally bought the chicken flavored rice and noodles, so I had to mix them. I hope it turns out all right. I didn't realize I had got two different kinds of the pasta sides and rice sides, I suppose. But anyway, we're going to see what the pasta and the rice taste like together tonight. These are the kids' plates. This is Chloe's, and I gave her a pepper because I know she will eat it, and I have a biscuit between her and Jace because they don't usually eat a whole one. And then I cut their pork chops up, and they each have one slice of bacon. And then Jackson's, I don't cut his meat up because he's 10. He is very capable of eating this pork chop, so he's got 2 pieces of bacon and a whole roll. I didn't cut his one half or anything. So that's the kids' plates, and now I just got to fix mine and my husband's. And this is what we're having for dinner tonight, y'all.
Alright y'all, tonight we were having homemade sloppy joes and onion rings, and I just wasn't feeling the canned sloppy joe tonight, so I was like, I'm gonna make my own. So I got on Pinterest real quick and I searched up easy homemade sloppy joe mixes, and this is what I came up with, so I'm gonna share it with y'all. So first I got my ground beef in my pot, and I think it's like a little bit over a pound. I'm gonna brown that up, and I've cut up an onion and just a little half of a jalapeno that I had from the other night. I'm gonna cut that up and put that in there also. We're gonna cook that with the grease that's coming off the ground beef. Alright then, so now I'm cutting up my onion to make my onion rings, and I don't know, I just thought I was not feeling the french fries like we normally would have with our sloppy joes or potato chips, so I was like, I got these onions, I'm gonna make some onion rings. So I got on Pinterest like so many times before and found me a recipe to make onion rings, but y'all, this recipe was not the best. I mean, it worked. It turned out all right. It tasted all right, but the breading just did not stick to my onions like I was hoping that it would. So I'm going to have to find me a different recipe to try, or maybe you guys have one that you would like to give me. I would love that. And this is my little technique I come up with. I've got some flour and some breadcrumbs in a bowl, and then I've got some milk in a bowl, and then of course I got my onion rings. And I'm going to dip my onion rings into the milk, and then the flour and breadcrumb mixture, and then back into the milk, and then, you know, back into the breadcrumb and flour mixture, and then fry 'em. That's what I did. Like I said before, if you guys have any suggestions on what else I could do, please leave them in the comments below. I really would like to find a great onion ring recipe. Okay, so I realized that those onions was going to take me a long time, so I decided to go ahead and mix up my sloppy joe mixture, and I just squirted in a whole bunch of ketchup and a whole bunch of mustard and some brown sugar and mixed all that together. I will leave y'all a recipe to follow in the description box, because I know I'm kind of hard to follow because, like I said, I don't really measure. I just pour and mix until my heart's content.
Okay, y'all, I got all of the onions battered and ready to be fried, but y'all, that took so long to do, and it made such a big mess. Probably won't be doing that for a while. I'm hoping that it's worth it in the end. And I also went back into this with a little bit more brown sugar and some Worcestershire sauce and some garlic powder. And then here's how they are looking. Some of them that I got frying so far, I just put a few in there just to see how they did.
And here is how everything looked once it was plated up. As you know, I was not a fan of those onion rings. See how they look? The bread does not stick, but the mixture, the sloppy joe mixture was great. I hope you guys try that. I wanted to say thank you all for watching, and until next time, bye y'all.